Hi everyone, my name is Andrea. For those of you that don't know me, I am 23 and I have lupus fibromyalgia and I get psychogenic non epileptic seizures. I know that last one is probably like, what? They're seizures, pretty much, but they don't harm your brain and they are caused by emotional trauma or stress. They can be triggered by, for girls, their period. Um, they can be triggered by different hormones. So, yeah, I have all those things, and, accompanying those, I get chronic pain and I have chronic fatigue as well. So, I'm pretty much, you know, uh, a strange one, I would say. Uh, it's been really, really hard. I was diagnosed August 18th of 2014. So right now it's almost been 5 years. Um, it's crazy though, all the stuff I've been through, just, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Uh, And that sounds crazy to some of you, but if you have a chronic illness, you know what I mean. Um, I've had a very hard time, um, dealing with my illnesses, but it also has taught me a lot more, and I would say that I'm a better person because of it. So yeah, that's just a little information about me. Right now, I'm in the hospital. I've never done a video while I'm in the hospital, so I just wanted to try it out and see what happens. I didn't really have a theme set in mind, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Um, so yeah, the reason I'm in the hospital is because I went to the ER. I drove. No, okay. What happened exactly is I was talking to a friend, and the friend said, "You're not making any sense." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you just don't make sense when you talk." He's like, "Something's wrong." And then so I started talking to my mom on the phone, and I started stuttering really bad. You know, uh, I'll say that last sentence how I was saying it before. I I I I I I I st- st- started start start stuttering like that. That was my little impersonation of me. Uh, so yeah, I was stuttering, um, and I was very confused. And my mom told me go to the hospital right away. She told me call 911. But I didn't think things through because of what was happening. And so I drove to the hospital. I drove and I drove myself to the ER, and it was pretty scary. Um, I showed up, I told the receptionist what was happening, and she didn't even have to have me fill out like any form or anything. She was just like, "Come on in," and they had a wheelchair ready for me. I was like, "What's going on?" They go and they rush me to the one of the rooms that are for critical patients, and they call the code. Uh, Rapid response. They said rapid response room room 1. Rapid response room 1. I was in room 1. Uh, Not even 5 seconds passed, and there was like, I want to say 15 people, um, all of them worked there. Um, One was taking my blood pressure, one was taking my, well, doing my vitals. Um, the other one was trying to get an IV in me. There was actually two people trying to get an IV in me. Uh, and the doctor that was there was asking me uh, what was going on. And then the others were getting the crash cart ready. They were just like doing things quickly. And the doctor stepped out, and then another doctor came and said, "What is going on?" And I told him, this is what's happening. I can't seem to get my words out very well, and yeah. So it was, needless to say, it was very scary because, one, I was alone. I didn't have my mom with me. I didn't have my brother with me. I didn't have a boyfriend with me. I didn't have anyone. And two, they told me that I was having a stroke. So I got very scared. And I thought, are my parents going to make it in time? Or am I just going to die? You know? And then they come back. They do a CT of me really fast. They did an x-ray of my chest, I believe, and everything came back fine. But then they had to do an MRI, and it was kind of scary. Um, by that time, they told me, we don't think it's a regular stroke, we think it's a mini stroke, which is called the TIA, and it's a transischemic uh, something. And so I was a little more calm, but I was still kind of upset over, um, something which I will explain to you right now. And so they put me in the MRI machine. They put something over my head because it was only of the brain. And then they put me in. I started freaking out. I had a seizure, and they had to call a doctor to get um, Ativan approved in order for me to finish the MRI. So the reason this all happened was because, and I might cry, so I'm sorry. Um, the reason this all happened was because about 6 months ago, one of my very best friends passed away. His name was Alan, and I've been pretty upset about it, um, but I was fine. But that day, it was his birthday. And so, just to have a birthday and, not being able to tell him happy birthday, it was heartbreaking for me. And so I guess it caused a lot of stress. Um, and I was really upset. So that's why I had the mini stroke. I'm sorry. So, anyways, um, they told me that they were gonna admit me because I needed to be in observation, which is protocol for anyone who has any sort of stroke. And that was pretty much it for that day. And the next day, um, I had my neurologist come in, and she was like, "What's going on? You were doing so well. You know, you hadn't had your seizures. My seizures are triggered by emotional stress and trauma." And then she told me, and then now you have this? Like, that's crazy. She's like, "I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't think it's a stroke, that's just caused by, veins closing or a clot or anything like that." She said, "I think it's a psychogenic stroke, sort of. Sort of like the seizures that I get, which are also psychogenic." So, what psychogenic means, it means that it's not physical, but it's mental. So, it was caused by my mind, you know? It wasn't a real stroke, but I had everything, um, I guess every same aspect of the stroke itself that all happened to me. And she called it a psychogenic attack or a psychogenic stroke. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That's what she said. And so I was kind of relieved that it was that. She said you need to talk to your psychiatrist and talk to her about it, get all that out because it's causing you to become physically ill. And, I agreed with her. I haven't talked about Alan's death really, and I haven't grieved. And so I need to let all that out. So I guess with that, I want to tell you a little bit about my mental history. Um, I I've always had anxiety. Um, yeah, I've always had anxiety, and um, when I was little, it would manifest in a way that I just didn't want to go to school. I wanted to stay with my mom because I was afraid she wouldn't come back for me. And that's how it was for a very long time. I was always scared to go to school. Always. Until I came to the States and my parents told me, if you don't go to school, we're gonna go to jail. And so I took that very seriously and I started going. Doesn't mean I wasn't crying every day though. Um, but I started going. So my mental health issues progressed as I got diagnosed, and basically, the lupus can also affect your mental health, you know, to an extreme. Like, you could be fine, and then you get lupus, and you become severely depressed, or severely anxious, or you get PTSD. Um, and I was one of the ones that got severe anxiety. I got severe depression, and I got PTSD. And so the first two diagnoses were severe anxiety issues, severe depression, and a mood, um, what do you call it? Like a mood condition. Um, and so that I was diagnosed in 2015, in July 2015. And it made a lot of sense, that I was very depressed, that I had severe anxiety, that there might be some other issue that was not diagnosed, mood disorder. Um, and so I started seeing a therapist, which helped a lot. She helped me like crazy. Um, but I was paying for my therapy, and it was like $60 a week. So that's not easy to come by if you're a student. And I hated asking my parents for money because it was just like, I wanted to be independent, and I hated asking them for money, but I had to do it. And so there was a way that they would do it income based, and if I did it that way, I would probably get my therapy for free, and I would get to see a psychiatrist and then an evaluation. Um, so I went that route. I went and got evaluated because that's the first thing you got to do. Um, and then they told me, you know what, we're not sure, but we think you're bipolar. You're not depressed, you're bipolar. And I started thinking, that makes a lot of sense. And so I started seeing my psychiatrist. My psychiatrist told me that it was true, that in his opinion, I was bipolar. Um, and so I started taking medication for bipolar disorder. Mostly, people take lithium, but lithium is really bad for your kidneys, and I have bad kidneys as it is, so they didn't want me on lithium. They came out with Abilify a few years ago, and it seems to work really well. Um, but for bipolar disorder, you never really know. It's kind of like hit and miss, or like them adjusting your medications every time you go, according to what you tell them. And so they gave me Abilify. I believe they gave me hydroxyzine there, and then they gave me, hmm, they gave me clonazepam, and that was just to calm my nerves. Um, and then the seizures started. It was October of 2017, I believe, or 16. I'm not quite sure. Um, yeah, I think it was 2017. The seizures started. I had to get EEGs done, and it turns out that I have psychogenic epileptic seizures, and so that means that they're caused by stress and anxiety. I'm sorry about the machine. Uh, my infusion's done, so. But anyways, I'll make this fast. And so I started getting a lot better with the medication, but I had to go to therapy, and I had to be consistent with it, and I've gotten a lot better. But a lot has happened to me in the past few months. They diagnosed me with PTSD, and they said, it's because you always think that something bad is going to happen to you when you're healthy, even though you're healthy. Um, and I'm in remission for the lupus. Um, you know, you think that something bad is always going to happen to you, so you have PTSD. Um, and then I have PTSD from some other trauma that I experienced, which I will not talk about here. But um, yeah, in short, I just wanted to tell you guys, listen to your doctors, listen to your body. If something seems very off about your mood, or you're very irritable, um, go see a doctor. You know, go see a doctor. It changed my life for sure. When I started taking the Abilify, I felt like a brand new person. And now these attacks are happening, and the therapy helps, but I need to get more therapy. So I just want to let you guys know that um, I appreciate all of you who have been praying for me, who have me in your thoughts, and well wishes and everything. It means the world to me. Um, Hold on. Mm, I don't know how to do this. Alright, I'll just leave it like that. I'm about to finish anyways. So yeah, go see your doctor. Um, and again, thank you all for keeping up with me. Those of you that don't know me in real life, I thank you all for watching my videos. And that's pretty much it. I want to say I hit like 2,500 likes or 2,500 views in one of my videos, and that's a lot for me because I've never spoken in front of 2,500 people, but apparently now I have. So share my videos with people that you think could use them. Send me questions. My Instagram is whatever Dre. So it's whatever DRE. Uh, you can message me on there all the time. Uh, with that, I'll be closing. Again, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.